Hello, my foodie friends. It's me, your friendly neighborhood kid switch, Tara. Welcome back to Recipes for the Cooking Impaired. As you can see, we are not in the world of Skyrim this week. No, we are not. And there's a good reason, because there was a commenter request for some delicious dessert and something maybe a little old-fashioned. So today we're going to jazz it up and do an 80s recipe. I don't know the exact year, but I know it was shortly after the cereal Special K came out, because that's in the recipe. So what are we making? Here we go. We are making peanut butter squares. And this is not a healthy recipe at all. You should also know that this recipe makes 4 dozen, because you're going to cut the squares tiny. It is very rich, very sweet, but absolutely blissfully delicious. So what we need is 1 cup of light Caro syrup. It's clear, it's in a glass bottle. You can find it in the baking aisle. 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1.5 cups of creamy peanut butter. You can use chunky, however, you're going to be mixing all of this together into the cereal, and it's really a lot easier if it's the creamy peanut butter than if it's the chunky. Keep that in mind. 6 cups of Kellogg's Special K cereal. And a heads up, you're going to use a little over 3/4 of the box. Almost the entire thing is going into this mix. So, but make sure you measure it out. That way you got the right ratio. 6 cups. 1 cup of butterscotch chips. So they look like chocolate chips, but they're made of butterscotch. Same aisle, same bacon region. That's where you find it. And then last, 1 cup of chocolate chips, and you want the semi-sweet. Do not get the milk chocolate. This is going to be sweet enough as it is. It will be even more overpowering. Get the semi-sweet chocolate. In a pinch, say you can't find semi-sweet chocolate, which would be amazing. I don't know if that's ever happened, but just we'll say for argument's sake, you can use dark chocolate, but I'd recommend the semi-sweet over the dark chocolate just because of how it mixes and the flavor content. All right, so for my metric fans, I got you covered. Here we go. Doodaloo, 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 doodaloo. You're done. Yeah, really short song. Really short recipe. This video is very short, very fast. It took almost as much time measuring everything out as it did to cook it. Yeah, isn't that crazy? So let's head into this kitchen and start this bake. All right, so in our saucepan, we have 1 cup of water, and we're adding in 1 cup of Caro syrup. And this is light Caro syrup. We're going to heat this on medium and stir it in. And what we want is for it to melt together. And so we're going to heat it and stir it slightly, just periodically. The main thing is making sure it doesn't scorch and that it melts into a cohesive liquefied unit. Get to a boil and bring it to a more liquid state. Alright, as you can see, it's just now starting to boil. We're going to stir a little bit more. Alright, foodie friends, we are removing this from the heat, and now next we'll be adding our peanut butter. Now remember, this is 1.5 cups of peanut butter. Alright, once we have the 1.5 cups in there, then we're going to stir it until it is completely smooth. And as you can see, like we said before, this is creamy peanut butter. You can use crunchy if you're somebody that likes crunchy, but I like the smoothness. I think it's much better using creamy. So that's why we have on the instructions on the recipe card is creamy. Alright, it is fully mixed. And now our next step is to pour this into the cereal, the Special K. So you're going to pour the whole thing in, and we're only going to lightly stir it. You don't want to stir it so much that the cereal gets all crunched up. Lightly stir it. Once we have this all stirred up, immediately it's going to be put into a pan that has been greased using butter because it gives it a good flavoring, and pressed down. Alright, so this is our 9 by 13 pan, as you can see, buttered, and we're pouring all of this in to be pressed down. We're getting this all in place and pressing it down. Remember, you have to be super fast with this because it will start setting very quickly. So as soon as you can get it off the stove, mixed into the cereal, and poured in and pressed, the better. Alright, so everything's been pressed down. Next, we're going to melt in this saucepan the butterscotch chips and the chocolate chips together. Okay. And remember, the chocolate chips are the semi-sweet, and the butterscotch is just your regular butterscotch. We have it on medium heat. You're going to want to stir this continually so it does not scorch and does not burn. Alright, as you can see, it's melting down really well. This part does not take very long. It's just being diligent about making sure you're stirring and not letting it have a chance to scorch or burn. Alright, as you can see, it is nice and smooth. There's no more chips. We are now going to evenly pour this over our peanut butter peanut butter Special K. This is actually the first time I've ever done a recipe using Special K. I am so used to Rice Krispie treat type designs, or I did that video about Fruity Pebbles treats. But this is my first time trying a recipe, and like I said at the beginning, this is from the 80s. Yeah. So, not healthy at all, but absolutely delicious. I think you're gonna love it. Yes. But until this recipe, I had never done any Special K recipes before this. So, kind of cool. Now, once it's fully covered and evenly spread, you're just going to set this away from the heat, room temperature, until it hardens. And then it can be cut into squares and devoured. Yes, indeed, devoured. So at this point, my friends, I'm not going to have you watch it harden. That would take way too long. So I'm just going to say bye, my foodie friends. If you enjoyed this recipe and you want me to try to make something else, maybe even from the 80s, hit me up with a comment. Feel free to tickle that like button so I know that you're enjoying these videos. And feel free to high five the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any foodie fun. Until then, I miss your faces already. Bye!